Yo guys, welcome back. I hope we're all doing well. So today we've got another video for you on purpose. So I've been learning quite a lot more about purpose over the last few weeks since I made my previous video on why purpose should be your number one priority. So hopefully you've all gave that a watch and hopefully you kind of understand a bit more about purpose. If not, I'll leave a link to that video below. But I think for a lot of people it's still quite vague, and even for me, for a lot of my life I kind of always felt like purpose was a thing and everyone did have a purpose. I don't think everyone would have been made into existence without a purpose, but I never kind of truly understood like what is purpose, what does that really mean. And this was till I kind of discovered and read the book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida, which I mentioned previously. It's like kind of the blueprint of like mission, purpose, masculinity, femininity. I learned like a lot about that too. It's like definitely one of the best books I've ever read, so I definitely recommend reading that if you want to discover more about purpose. So I think like you have mission and then purpose, which are kind of like both interlinked. So your mission is like what you want to do, like what is kind of like you're really like calling and stuff, like what do you feel like you're kind of obsessed about, and then the purpose is like kind of your why. So for me, in fulfilling my first kind of purpose, my mission was to build like an aesthetically pleasing body in the gym. And my purpose for this was because I felt quite insecure in the way I looked in my body, and yeah, to be honest, I kind of just wanted to attract more women into my life because I never kind of had that, and I really had a really strong desire. So that was kind of my purpose, and that's kind of my main purpose, I'd say, for the last like kind of year, 18 months or so, and I have kind of just worked relentlessly towards that. But when I kind of started this journey, I didn't understand what purpose was or anything like that. I kind of just was like, oh yeah, it'd be quite cool to kind of build this body. But then I kind of got like obsessed with it. Like every single day I've been like training and like thinking about ways to get better and bigger and all of this type of thing. So on to kind of the next part. David Dida says in The Way of the Superior Man that we have layers of purpose, and for me I feel like I have now completed this layer. I feel like I've got to where I wanted to be. I've built a really aesthetically pleasing body. I've put on a really good amount of muscle mass, probably more than I initially kind of wanted or ever expected to be able to build, considering like some of the where I kind of started from, so skinny, like just weak, and I never really thought the gym was when I was younger, it was never really anything that even kind of interests me. I never really saw myself being that guy going to the gym every day like consistently. But honestly, like it changed my life, and I love gym and I love fitness, and it will always be a massive part of my life. This is the biggest achievement I've ever really felt in my life. I've never really felt like a massive like kind of accomplishment, and this is the thing that to date like it just stands out more. Like I've obviously grown a lot as a person, but when I think of achievements, like there's nothing like I could kind of is on the same wavelength for me. Like anything through my like kind of childhood just doesn't compare. The kind of work and sacrifice, the discipline I'm just really proud of like kind of what I've been able to do. So yeah, like this is my biggest achievement, but now I kind of feel like I need to move on to the next chapter, my next kind of layer of purpose. But David also says like you can't just like let it go and like just let it like dissolve kind of out your life. So I'm definitely going to continue with the gym, continue like maybe 3-4 times a week, which is probably quite a lot compared to most people. But for me, I've been going like 6-7 times a week because I've just been like kind of my purpose. It's been my obsession for so long. I've just been going hard at it kind of every single day. It's like what I've really like wanted to do. But for me, I kind of feel like my next kind of purpose, especially towards my fitness kind of journey, is to pursue fighting, MMA. I'm either thinking like Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu. Probably Muay Thai. I think a bit more physicality, and I think that I'd learn a bit more. Say just about physical combat, and if just kind of like dealing with it if ever like kind of shit kicked off or anything, then I feel like that would be a lot more suitable to kind of use, and more a kind of something you'd use in your day-to-day life more than jiu-jitsu. But I'm considering the two, and thinking like seriously and kind of journaling about which one would be the best one for me. So yeah, like I say, the book like says that we should never kind of neglect these parts of our life, which I'm definitely not gonna do. Like I say, I think like 3, 4 times, whatever it may be for you, two in life. Keep that up, because you never know, you might really want to go back, and then you've to put all that work in, like I've been putting in the work, and you might have been doing the same for years, and it would be like such a shame to kind of let that slip. And one day you'll probably look back and be like, oh yeah, I had that really good like body, and I just kind of let it go. Like for what? Like you probably like look back and be like really sad. But if you just like kind of find like the level where you can just like maintain like a really good level where you're already at, and not really kind of like build on it, and that'll be good. And I think overall, the more like kind of purposes you unlock, say if like I've built the body already, and then if I can like become a fighter too, and then I've got like entrepreneurial skills, like I built a business, I built a YouTube channel, and I've kind of like, it obviously depends how long these kind of layers of purpose take, but say they take a year, 2 years on average, something like that, 3, even that. Say by the time I'm like 40, I've like unlocked all these different layers. I'm like all round, I've like got all these different skills, like yeah, like entrepreneurial skills, the fitness, the body, like a fighter. Who knows like what else I could do in the future. Obviously I've not got there yet, but I think that would be so good to kind of look back. But I see like a lot of people will, that they kind of don't really know purpose, and they either, I'm sure a lot of people have kind of felt like a calling, like maybe I've kind of done this to death now, like I've done it so many times, I'm ready for something new, but they don't want to take that risk, and they're not exactly too sure. But I feel like everyone definitely does have these layers of purpose, but they're not kind of just, they're kind of not really aware, or that, yeah, they just don't want to take that risk. But the thing is, when you kind of do like go through this layer of purpose, you've completed it, a lot of people probably think, oh, like you must feel like a really sense of accomplishment, which yeah, I do somewhat. And you kind of just like, oh, you'd really want to like celebrate, but that is like definitely not the case. I'm kind of like, I've done that now I kind of just want to move on to the next thing. I really want to just get started into like martial arts or something like that. So yeah, it's really not like that at all, because I remember recalling when I was at university in my second year, which was last year, we had quite a lot of work in. I think quite a lot of assessments, exams and stuff, all due in around the same time within like a 3-4 week window, and I was doing like a lot of work, and this was like my mission, my purpose at the time, like to get all this like stuff done. And like it was kind of like the journey. In the journey, I was like, oh, it's gonna be so good once I get all this work done. Like I think I was meant to be starting like a placement. I started my placement like 3 weeks or so later. I was like, oh, once I get this done, I can do whatever I want. Like it'll be so fun and stuff. Like it feels so good when I've done this. And then I remember like submitting that last piece of work, and I felt nothing. I was like, oh, that's it then, isn't it? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I don't feel good. Like, oh, this was not how it was meant to feel, was it? I just like remember that so vividly, and like I remember like going out, like having some drinks, and I just felt like empty. I felt nothing. I was like, well, that's the end of like that year. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm not expecting to feel like that. But at the time, like, I didn't know anything about mission and purpose. This wasn't even that long ago, but I still had never really came across it before. And yeah, I just couldn't believe it. But yeah, at the time, that was kind of like my purpose, just kind of just get that work done and submit it, and then move on to the next thing. But yeah, it just didn't feel like that, and that's kind of how it feels again. And I kind of know that's kind of how I got to with like the gym and lifting weights. Like it doesn't really feel that exciting anymore, because the journey was like so good. Like seeing the gains and stuff was so good. But now I've like got to a really good level, and I'm like, I have achieved what I set out to. It doesn't feel the same. It's like yeah, the journey is not kind of the destination that feels good. So I kind of know what it feels like now, and I recall like looking back and doing some reflection that I've had one of those moments before too. And obviously one of my, like, I'd say my main like kind of purpose now has been to like really grow this like YouTube channel, really like kind of grow my message and expand it. And obviously it feels really good now, like producing content, and when I see it grow and grow, it feels so good. But I know eventually when I reach the point where I'm like, okay, I've kind of done what I've set out to do, I've sent my message, I've helped a lot of people, then I'll be like, yeah, that's that. So I'll move on to my next thing and the next thing, and it will feel the same thing. That's kind of like, that is what it's like for a purposeful man, being like a masculine man. And I think it is like, I do believe it is like quite a beautiful journey at the same time, and it is all about the journey that really is exciting. It's not the like end destination. It's kind of that pursuit of like freedom that like masculine men will feel, and in the destination at the end will probably feel quite underwhelming. So you're probably listening to this right now, and there might be a moment where you kind of look back and thought, oh, I thought I'd feel like really good after I finished that. I worked towards that really big goal that I really wanted to achieve for a long time, but I didn't feel that good. And then this probably explains things. If you kind of do some reading and educate yourself on mission and purposes, it kind of like clarifies a lot, and stuff that obviously we never learn at school, but it's one of the most important things. Like I said, it should be our number one priority, is purpose in our life. It comes before anything. It becomes before finance, relationships, anything like that. But yeah, for me, I feel like I honestly have fulfilled my first purpose now. Let me know, the first one I like consciously know. Let me know if you guys have kind of felt the same, and how you've kind of experienced purpose maybe before in your life. I'd be really interested to hear. Maybe a lot of people probably don't know a lot, but yeah, I definitely recommend buying the book The Way of the Superior Man if you want to learn a lot more about mission and purpose, masculinity, femininity. That'd be really interesting for you, I'm sure. If you could like, share, subscribe, it would mean a lot. I'm trying my best to just get this channel to grow like as much as I possibly can. I really want to spread this message, so any support would be massively appreciated, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys.